Hi, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio, where our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. Folks, I have a special guest all the way from Israel. I love talking to people from Israel. I guess it must be because I'm Jewish. It's in my DNA. I just feel like a real connection to Israel because I am Jewish. And with me today is Rena Yutkowski. She is a professional memory coach and geriatric social worker who is founder of Memory Matters. Rena teaches online memory improvement courses to midlifers and seniors. Rena has served as a director of an Alzheimer's unit in an assisted living in Maryland, the director of director of development at a senior enrichment program in Israel. She's trainer for dementia caregivers, a facilitator at support groups, and she does international lectures on aging. Rena has a Facebook group, Memory Matters, Tips and Tricks for Midlifers and Seniors. And I'll tell you what, folks, I highly recommend checking out, joining the Facebook group because Rena does meetings in there, and I belong to the group. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to attend any, but I've seen Rena do a presentation, and Rena is awesome. And Rena is also a memory coach for an international anti-aging clinic where she does one-to-one coaching and is working on a comprehensive program to prevent dementia. I forgot to add my disclaimer, so let me do it now. I get so excited I forget to say it. The views of the guests may not represent those of the host of the station. And Rena is super passionate about her mission of helping those 50 plus to age more healthy, both physically and cognitively, as she empowers them to believe in their own memory with confidence. And Rena is also on YouTube. But I want to welcome Rena Yutkowski to Chatting with Betsy. Welcome, Rena.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Betsy. It's a pleasure to be with you, and thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Oh, you are welcome. Rena, I get so excited because one of the purposes of my show and my passion is to help people know about resources that I wish I knew about. And if I wish I knew about it, then I think other people would want to know about it. And being that I am 65, which I can't believe, and sometimes, to be honest, I'm really very open with my audience. I go into a room and I forget what I come in here for. And then I remember, or I forget how to spell a word and I get scared. Uh-oh, I hope I'm not getting Alzheimer's. And I think, personally, I fear that because my husband had it, my brother had memory issues, my father had Alzheimer's, and, I wonder, is it in my family? But I'd like to ask your opinion. Is that something to be concerned with?
Okay, so you are not alone, and the issues you just said are very universal. It happens to all of us. And one of my favorite webinars that I teach is called "What Did I Come to the Fridge For?" And everyone loves that title because we all do that. We all go to the fridge, open the fridge, and say, "What did I come here for?" And in that webinar, I go through 4 techniques to help us with focus. But what I want to explain to you, Betsy, is that it's not necessarily something to worry about unless it's very pervasive. So I want to explain to you why that happens, and then I'll tell you when you should worry, okay?
Sure, please do.
So first of all, oftentimes we blame our memory problems on what's really focus and attention. So, that example of going into a room and not knowing what you went for, or can't find your keys or your wallet. So many times we think it's a memory problem, but it's not. It's actually we're not paying attention to what we're doing. And as we get older, I think we find that we sort of become ADD, or not really, but we don't pay attention to what we're doing. So, and also many thoughts come through our brain. So I have the thought, I need the milk from the fridge, and then a million other thoughts come through my head till I get to the fridge. So when I open that fridge, it's like I have to sort of reverse back to what I was just thinking about between the time thought I needed the milk and got to the fridge. So it's really, I don't see that as a memory issue. And what the solution to that is very simple and easy, and it's just helping yourself stay on task. So it's saying milk, 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 milk till you get to that fridge and open the fridge and get the milk. It's a very silly solution, but really what we're doing is keeping our brain focused on the task. So it's a very typical scenario. It happens to all of us. And the time when you do want to worry about it, or let's talk about the difference between normal and abnormal memory loss, is when it becomes much more pervasive. It's happening a lot. It's happening to the point that you can't function or that you can't be independent. Then it's time to worry that it's a memory issue. So if it's happening once or twice, and it's really, you can just move on and it comes back to you easily, that's not so concerning. When it's concerning is when you really, when you pick up your keys and don't know what to do with them, or when you're driving and you get lost, or, those are more extreme examples, or when you can't remember the whole experience versus part of an experience. Like it's normal to forget part of an experience. It's not normal to forget a full experience. So when it becomes more pervasive, or when you're not, you can't be independent anymore, or when it's impeding your daily functioning, then it's more concerning. But until then, if it's a couple memory lapses here and there, our mind goes to very scary places, and that's also very normal. And part of what I do is give people the confidence to believe that they can remember better, that they can improve their memory, because they really can. So instead of something happens to you and you go, oh my gosh, am I getting Alzheimer's? Instead, through my courses and all my tools and techniques, instead you can replace that self-talk with something more positive, gentle, and affirming and confident, like, I got this. I know how to remember this. So I love that. That's an intro.
Yes, I really love that. I have to say from my own personal experience, Rena, that I go to a neurologist for migraines, but after Matt died, and, because I am 65 and there are people who have lost spouses, partners, and there's widow's fog, and I was really concerned. And I told the neurologist, I said, I go in the room, I forget what I went in there for, forget how to spell a word. Mm-hmm. And he said, Betsy, you've been under a lot of stress, which I was. Mm-hmm. He said, wait a few months, and if you're having a problem, we'll get you tested. He gave me like a simple test, and I had to think how to spell a word backwards.
Yeah.
But I did fine, and that's another thing as we age and we lose our partners and spouses, and you get that widow's fog, as they call it. Yeah. It's scary, and I just want to tell the audience, if you're concerned, I beg you, from the bottom of my heart, please see a neurologist. If you have to see your primary first, get a referral if you're in one of those HMOs. And go get screened. Really, it's so important to get screened.
Absolutely. I tell anyone that's concerned about their memory to go check it out, because if it's nothing and they tell you it's nothing, then you can go on and you can do the things that are healthy to stay sharp. But if it is more serious, we are in the point in time with health that we're really trying to do a lot of preventive, and we're trying to catch things early on, so that again we can stay sharper longer. So definitely go check it out if you're concerned. And what you were talking about, the grief. Yes, grief, stress, and there's a whole long list of things that can cause memory issues, and it's not dementia. So it could be anything from a UTI, a urinary tract infection, to stress, which actually chronic exposure to stress can shrink our hippocampus, which is in charge of learning and memory. A grief reaction definitely can make us have brain fog. And the list goes on. There's medications that have side effects of memory loss. So if you are experiencing memory loss, it could be so many other things besides dementia. And that's the other reason we want to go check it out, because you want to either rule out those things, or if it is one of those things, there are a lot of things that are treatable. For example, sleep apnea. Sleep apnea causes memory loss, but that is treatable. And people don't know that. So it's important for people to realize that there are other causes of memory loss other than the different types of dementia, and many of them are treatable.
Yes. They're, thyroid functioning, lack of certain vitamins.
Yep.
There could be toxins in your body
That's a big
that
one.
can be causing it. Yes. So it's best to get checked out. And I have to laugh, Rena, because it's so true. We do have ADD. I think I sometimes have it. We're doing so much at once, especially if you're a caregiver, which was my experience. You try to multitask as much as possible. I'm finding now that I cannot multitask. I heard it wasn't good for your brain anyway. Now, if I'm doing bills, I have to do bills. I can't do bills and laundry at the same time or watch TV. I have to just concentrate.
Yes, and you're not alone, Betsy, and this is normal also. As we age, it gets more difficult to pay attention to more than one thing at a time. Multitasking is one of my pet peeves because it's actually one of the first techniques I tell people to improve their focus. Stop multitasking, because it does trip up our brain. So when you're doing bills, if you stop to write an email or stop to answer your door, you come back to do it, it's going to take you longer because you just got distracted. Every time you switch tasks like that, we're wasting time. And if we just sit and do it, like let's say bills, you sit and do the bills and you focus on the bills, it is much more efficient to do that than to keep getting up or answering the phone or checking your email. But we live in a world that is so distracting from all the technology that we've all gotten so used to checking our email, scrolling through Facebook, opening a lot of windows on our computer and flipping back and forth. But it actually trips up our brain. And they did research in the workplace, and they found that people that multitask made double the amount of mistakes. We grew up thinking that if we could do so many things at once, we're more efficient, but it's really not true. In fact, I saw a very interesting statistic that multitasking temporarily lowers your IQ by 15 points, temporarily. So, there are a lot of reasons why we don't want to multitask, but one of them is that it makes us feel more stressed. When we try to do so many things at once, we end up feeling very stressed, and we're less creative. So if you're doing something creative or trying to come up with something interesting or write an article, the more you focus and single task as opposed to multitasking, the better off you'll be. Our brains are what's called sequential processors. So we really can't do two things at the exact nanosecond. Our brains work fast. We go from one thought to another, but we actually process information in a sequence, like sequential processor. We take it in, we process it. And a sequence means one thing after another, not at the same time. So the whole multitasking thing is a myth. And as we age, we really need to slow down a bit and stop the multitasking. And we'll feel calmer. We'll feel more accomplished because at the end of the day, you actually did the task, but you did it one thing at a time instead of trying to do a little piece of this and a little piece of that. So as a caregiver, you mentioned caregivers, it is hard to single task. But what I tell people is whenever possible, single task instead of multitasking. Now, there are times where you have to serve dinner to a couple different people with different needs, and your mom or dad might need to go to the bathroom, so you have to take them to the bathroom. But as much as possible, try to stay focused on one thing at a time. It helps us just feel much calmer, and in the long run, our memories actually work better for us. So it's an interesting thing.
Well, that's yes, I have read about that, and I'm thinking, well, that's why I'm going to start just doing one task at a time, because it's much better for my brain and my attention. And, sometimes we don't pay attention where we put our keys or our glasses. My glasses I don't have to worry about because I have to wear them all the time. But, or you wonder, when did I put something in the oven? Did I set the timer? Or you forget. Like I panic when I forget how to spell a word and I have to Google it. But then I remember. Or I see an actor, actress, I think, what's their name? I know their name. And it comes to me. I would like for you, Rena, to discuss your business, your courses. Memory matters, because memory does matter, folks. And, you know, I really like to connect with people and to promote people who have a passion. And, Rena, I know you have a passion to help others. I've seen it. It's very evident. I could detect when someone has a real passion when they don't. And I just really love what you do. Can you tell the audience what your online courses are about and how it can help them?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So you are right. I am extremely passionate about what I'm doing. You know, at different points over the last 25 years, I a little bit went off to train in something else, and I always came back to my geriatric work. I get so excited about it. So yes. So I was teaching memory improvement courses here in Israel live for different places, the Geriatric Institute of Yad Sarah, and I developed this course based on a course I had taken in Hebrew from a cognitive psychologist, and then I added to it. I put in a lot more, a lot more practical strategies, because I like to give people real tools that are going to help them remember better, whether it's names, numbers, or lists of items. So I kept improving this course that I was teaching live, and then right before COVID, not even knowing what was about to hit us, right, I decided I wanted to put my course online, because then I could really reach people all over the world and help a lot more people in a bigger way. So at the time, I didn't know anything about social media. I didn't have a website. This was like 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago, yeah. And I went online and I put up a website. I got someone to help me. Developed some social media, got on Facebook, got on LinkedIn, and started a Facebook group. And then I launched my course online. By then, COVID had hit, and people really needed stuff online. Everyone went on Zoom. You know, whether you like it or not, everyone went on Zoom, because it was our lifeline for everyone, especially seniors. And so I launched my course online. My course is actually 14 sessions. I did it live on Zoom, and I had people from 3 different countries the first time I launched it, which was so amazing. I had from America, Israel, and Australia. And it was very exciting to do it online, because I made a beautiful digital workbook, and I do it live online so I can answer people's questions and really practice the techniques that I teach. My course is geared for seniors. I have a geriatric social work background, and my course is geared for seniors. So it's at the right pace, and it's at I do away with anything that I don't like. Like, meaning any technique that's too hard for me or too complicated to teach and learn, I keep it simple but very practical. So it's helping you remember the names of the next people you meet, helping you remember that number of your license plate or social security number or credit card number. And I teach the technique, and then we practice it until you get it. So it's super fun, super interactive. So now, fast forward, I've taught this full course online 3 times. But besides for that, I ended up doing webinars all over the world for senior groups, because all the senior groups closed their doors over COVID and needed programming online. So either they found me or I found them, and I've done, I think I'm up to over 100 webinars and podcast interviews and Facebook Lives with all sorts of interesting people and places. And I've developed 8 standalone webinars. So like the one I mentioned in the beginning is called What Did I Come to the Fridge For? And that's 4 techniques to improve focus. I have another one which is 4 ways to prevent dementia. Another one's called Train Your Brain, which is all sorts of interesting brain exercises, et cetera, et cetera. So I went to put my course online, but ended up doing a lot more thanks to COVID. And I could also be all over the world. Like I've done stuff for groups, senior groups in England and Passaic, New Jersey, and Boca Raton and Jerusalem. So it's been really amazing how the world got much smaller because of COVID, and how I was able to really reach a lot of people and help them in a serious way, even just with my webinars. You know, even people listen to me once or twice, and they found it helpful. And then some of them chose to do my course or my membership, which is called Remembership, and that's a 3-month membership where you get a video a week that you watch whenever you want, and that's automated. So that's more of like do it on your own time. It's a video a week, a brain exercise a week, and then a once-a-month group coaching call, which is live if you want to ask me questions about any of the materials that you've watched or done. So what COVID ended up making me do in order to help people more, which was create more programs. So, yes, I have my course, and yes, I have my membership, and then I have a monthly brain exercises. So people say, I don't have so much time, I can't invest so much, but once a month I can hop on for 45 minutes and do brain exercises. And they feel good about it, and I do each month a different type of brain exercise. And that's also really fun and stimulating. And so I've created these different programs for different people with different needs. So like some people just want to do once a month, some people want to do their pre-recorded stuff in a membership. And then for the people that either have dementia or cannot join any of my group programs, I do one-on-one memory coaching. And that's been great because I can help people in a very customized, personal way. So, for example, someone saw me on one of my webinars and reached out to me, and he was 23 years old. So I couldn't put him into any of my, group programs because it wasn't relevant for him. But I worked with him one-on-one for 16 sessions, and he did so amazingly. He was able to not just improve his cognitive abilities and improve his memory, but his confidence level was boosted so greatly by the work we did that it just influenced the rest of his life, and that was very special for me to see. So that's a little bit about some of my offers. Yeah.
That's wonderful. It just popped into my head. Do you work with people who have brain injuries?
Yes. So that has come to me a lot because that is a very special niche. So, yes, if I feel I can help them, meaning I am willing to try to help anyone. I can't always guarantee or promise results because I don't always know. I don't know exactly what's going on in the brain. But as long as they feel that they can improve their memory in some way, or as long as there's I often ask for a neurologist report to see if there's some improvement in working memory or some ability. But usually there is. We believe today in neurogenesis, which is the brain's ability to grow new brain cells and repair itself. And it's amazing. The brain's ability to repair itself is absolutely amazing. And one of the ways we do that, help that, is through cognitive stimulation. So I have been working with people with brain injuries. Again, it depends on exactly how bad and what. And, if I feel like I can't help, I will not try. But usually I say, let's try. And if it works, amazing. And if it doesn't work, then we tried, right? So that's usually my approach. I help to the best of my ability. And, in fact, I had two ladies who took my course. One had a terrible car accident and a concussion many, many years before. And the other lady also had a traumatic brain injury, and both of them did fantastic in the course. Both of them were just totally wowed by their ability to learn and improve their memory. Yeah. That
is so awesome. Yeah. Rena, I have to ask if you could give an example. I want to know this myself for the audience of how to remember a person's name. Sometimes I had trouble with a person's name. I used to be so good with names, and sometimes
everyone.
Yeah, it just goes right in my head.
Yeah. So most people that take a memory course come because they want to remember names. So I actually pulled out, that is the meat and bones, right, of the course. That's the favorite part of the course. I actually pulled that out and made a 2-part master class called You Name It. I need to run that again because I know there's interest in that. I've done it a few times, and I want to run that again. So there's a whole technique, and it's not hard. You just have to practice it. But I'm going to give you the very beginning of that you can use, today. When you meet someone, first of all, you have to make the intention that you want to remember their name. So if you meet someone and they say their name and you're talking on your phone to someone else, there's no way you're going to remember it because your attention is elsewhere. So back to attention and focus. Focus on that person when they're telling you their name. Even in your head, make the intention to remember. Say, I want to remember this person's name. It is important to me to remember this person's name. Because sometimes people say to me, I don't care, I don't need to remember their name. If that's your attitude, there is no way you're going to remember it. So it has to be important to you. That's first of all. Second of all, when someone says their name, make sure you hear it. If I say my name is Rina, you didn't hear that because I mumbled it. There's no way you can remember something that you didn't hear clearly. And oftentimes people say their name so quickly that we don't catch it. And then we say we don't remember it. But it's not that we don't remember it, it's that we didn't hear it in the first place. So you have to make sure you hear it well. And then here's a really easy, good technique that works. Repeat it back to them. So, hi, Betsy. It's so nice to meet you. Betsy, where are you from?
New Jersey.
Okay. Betsy, how long have you been living in New Jersey?
Oh, most of my life. 63 years. 62.
Oh, wow, that's a long time. And Betsy, where are you from before New Jersey?
Still, I was born in New Jersey, raised in New Jersey.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I just lived 3 years in Tennessee.
Okay. So, and then at the end of the conversation with Betsy, I would say, Betsy, it was so nice to meet you. So in that short time, I'm repeating her name a few times. What does that do? First of all, it's repetition. Second of all, I'm hearing myself say the name. And when I hear myself say it, it's going to encode it better in my memory. Encode means to get it from short-term memory to long-term memory. So you want to encode that memory so it's there when you want to retrieve it. So when I want to get Betsy's name out of my long-term memory, I want it to be really easy to retrieve. One of the ways for it to be easy to retrieve is if it's filed in the right file. So by saying Betsy's name a couple times back to her, I'm repeating it and I'm hearing myself say it. So that's using my sense of auditory. And the more senses you use to encode a memory, the more likely it is you'll remember it. So that's a very simple technique without going into the other fancy. Then there's association and name, making the name meaningful and pictures. And that's what I do in my You Name It masterclass, and we practice it, and it's fun, and it works. But the first step is making the intention to remember it, like really wanting to remember it, making sure you hear it. And if you don't hear it, say to the person, I didn't catch that. Can you say that again? Or I didn't hear you. Please repeat yourself a little louder. You must hear it in order to remember it. And number 3 is repeat it back to the person in the conversation. Now, if you want to be really effective and efficient, and without even using anything else that I go on to, you can after you meet the person and you walk away, take out a pen and paper and write it down. If you write, that act of writing it down is going to help you remember it even better. So that is just like the beginning tips. Now, this works for a lot of people because what does it do? It's making you focus on that person's name. So it's not just my name is Rena Yudkowsky and we go on to the next thing and you didn't even pay attention to what I said, right? It's really just giving it a couple seconds of attention and intention, and that makes a very big difference. Now, after that, there's I do another hour and a half of, I don't teach the techniques for an hour and a half. I could teach it to you in 10 minutes, but it's practicing it till you get it, and it's fun. And what I do in my course is I give out pictures of 12 names and faces, and people give up. They don't even try to remember. They say, we can't do this. Everyone says, we just can't do this. We can't do this. People don't even try because they don't believe that they can do it. But as soon as I teach the technique, we go back and we practice with those names and faces, and at the end of the course, they do the same test. I give that out again, and voila, they're able to do it. And they can't even believe that they're able to, because they didn't originally believe that they were able to, and now I've proven to them that they can remember 12 new names and faces. And it's an incredible transformation. I love watching it.
Those are good, Rena, those are great tips. They really are. And it's simple, tips to know, keep repeating the person's name during a conversation. Mm-hmm. The next time I meet someone, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that.
And if they say, why are you repeating my name? Be honest. Say, I want to remember your name. It's important to me to remember your name, so I'm saying it a few times. And they're going to go, wow, thank you. Because when you remember someone's name, you make them feel like $1 million. Our names are our identity. And we love when people care enough to remember our names. So even if it feels funny to repeat the name, or if someone notices, just say, I'm doing it so that I can remember your name. And people will be amazed.
I love that. I love those tips. And Rena, I'd like for you to discuss about your Facebook group, Memory Matters, Tips and Tricks for Midlifers and Seniors, because I think, it's a great group to join. And please tell us about your Facebook group and why people should join it.
Thank you. So, I started this because I wanted to bring together people that wanted to improve their memory. So we have a 1,000 seniors from all over the world, and I mean all over the world. And I try to post in there either every day or almost every day. And I either post a memory tip or something funny to make us laugh, or I do a Facebook live interview with all sorts of interesting people that either have services for seniors or have something to offer us. Or I do, like, ask your opinion or advice about something, which is always fun to see what people ask and have to share. And I really try to be very active in there because people are looking for help with their memory, and they are looking for tips, and a lot of people are concerned about their memory as they age. So it's my way of bringing people together into a community, offering a lot of mostly free stuff. And then when I launch my course, I do tell people. So it's a way also to know anything interesting that I'm doing if you're interested in being part of that, and that's an opportunity to see what else I have going on. And then sometimes I do webinars with people. I did a caregiving summit. I don't know if you saw that, Betsy. We did a caregiving summit, a 2-hour summit with Deb Compton, Oren Aviv, and Loretta Van.
Yes.
The 4 of us. Yeah, the 4 of us spoke, and it was free, and it was amazing, amazing, amazing. We had a very high sign-up rate, and that was our gift to caregivers because we really want to support caregivers.
Yes, I actually interviewed Debbie Compton twice.
Oh, yeah?
On my show. Yes.
She's great.
Very, yes, she is wonderful. And that's wonderful. This is, technology has its great points, folks,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
being able to consult with Rena, attend her online courses, join her Facebook group, it's wonderful. And I have to pick your brain, Rena, because I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a curious person,
Sure.
curious mind. I know how we think of aging can vary from country to country and culture. So in Israel, where you are, what's their attitude about aging, and does it vary among the different cultures that are in Israel?
Okay, so it's a great question. I've been in Israel 23 years, and I've seen a huge breakthrough and revolution, and Israel has come a long way in caring for the aging, and even just in the 23 years I'm living here. So there are 2 things I want to talk about with that, and one is value-based, caring, because it's a Jewish country, and there's a very high value on the preciousness of life and the honor that we give to seniors. So we see that all over here. Like, people are really, really caring and loving to older people. Like, if there's an old lady crossing the street, there'll be 10 people coming to help her. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's just a little example. But it's a value-based culture, which means that there's first of all, it has to do with honoring parents, which is, a very high value for us, and we consider it a mitzvah. It's one of the commandments. So based on that is how the care here is going to work. Now, that doesn't mean that every nursing home is an amazing place to live in, because nursing homes are still not great places for the most part. Although I should say I have not been in a nursing home in a long time. But so based on our values that we really we want to help people live as long as they can. We want to give them quality of life. There's a serious emphasis on value-based care, meaning because we appreciate life, value life, and value caring for our parents, that's going to come through in our attitudes about aging and how we care for them. When I first came here, I worked for an organization that was among the pioneers in aging care. It's called Milabev, and they were really the first to start community clubs for the aging here in Israel, what you would call in America adult daycare. And they had some that were specialized for memory care, and they had in different languages. So we had one in Russian for the Russian immigrants. We had, obviously, in Hebrew, several in Hebrew. We had in English. And then I think they started one in Spanish, but I actually didn't work for them anymore when they started that. So that was an amazing experience. I really got to be part of that organization, which, like I said, were pioneers in the field. And then I taught for them. They ended up starting this geriatric institute, and I taught for them. They also trained the foreign workers. They brought over a lot of Filipino workers here who are amazing with the seniors, but they weren't trained. So Milabev trained the seniors in elder care, and I was part of that training team as well. So I've done a lot of interesting things. So that's the first thing about Israel and care is our value system. The second thing I want to say is technology. Israel is really at the forefront of age tech stuff, and I'm not so involved in it, but I'm meeting the people. I've been being connected by different people, with different people, with these startups, all sorts of startups for technology to help people age in place, help people age better and more, easily, stay in their houses with more care, like sensor stuff and memory cue stuff. And I've been meeting the people, and it's so fascinating how many of them are in Israel. And so this age tech Israel's very, very technologically advanced. And the people that are also interested in aging are combining the two fields with these interesting startups. And I'm working with a marketing person here in Israel who is connecting me with some of these people. So that's also interesting to watch. In fact, someone in America told me about someone that had this like a clock for people with dementia that had a clock and a date on it, and then it had more features like with video that they could see their grandchildren. And it turns out someone in America told me about this guy in Israel who has this. Turns out he lives in the same city. I met him in person, and I had no idea that he was right here. It was just funny that someone in America had to hook me up with someone that lives right near me.
Yeah.
So it was great, and I got to meet him, and we talked, and I always want to know about this stuff because I want to help my seniors with whatever technology can help them, and we can collaborate together on all the good stuff that's out there to help seniors.
Yes, there's a lot. I've done several shows about technology and seniors staying in contact, with their loved ones using technology. So it's really amazing. I have to ask, because I am nosy, how did you end up in Israel?
Okay, so that's also an interesting story. So I was working in Baltimore. I was the head of an Alzheimer's unit in an assisted living facility. And I got engaged, and my fiancé wanted to come learn here. And I thought we were coming. He was a rabbinical student, and I thought we were going to come for like a year or two and then go back to America. So and my younger sister was living here as well, so that was, I had some family here. So I quit my job in America, and we came here, and it's now 23 years later, and we're still here. So it was really, we came to sort of, try it out. And, thank God, we were very happy. I have 4 children here, and I got very involved in the field of geriatrics here, which was really amazing to be, like I said, at the forefront with that, this Mila Bev was pioneering in a lot of different ways for the seniors here. So that was exciting for me. But yeah, that's how we ended up here. And then we stayed. No. So we never, we've come back to visit, but we haven't moved back.
That's amazing. That's just awesome. You are doing a mitzvah, and that is just incredible. Back in the older generation, and not just a Jewish culture, but in many cultures, people took care of their parents.
Yeah.
They lived multi-generations in a house. And but that's not possible sometimes because people live so far away from each other. And that's where technology comes in, where, you can keep in touch and see people through, Facebook or, Messenger or whatever type of technology someone uses. It's great. There's the downside of the internet, but there's the upside. I like to concentrate on the upside. Excuse me. Yes. Rena, you are fantastic. Where can people get in touch with you and join your classes, your seminars?
So I'll give you my website. It's my name. It's RenaYudkowsky.com, and on there I pretty much have, you can click through to all my different offers and services. So it's my name, RenaYudkowsky.com. And then my email, I'm happy if anyone has any questions, please email me and I'll answer you. I answer all my emails personally. So it's Rena@RenaYudkowsky.com. So it's RENA@RenaYudkowsky.com. So if you know my name, you know my website and my email.
Great. Can you repeat your email again, Rena Yudkowsky at?
My email is Rena, RENA, at RenaYudkowsky.com.
Oh, okay.
Rena at RenaYudkowsky.com.
Okay,
and, of course,
thank
my Facebook
you.
group, and I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Instagram and TikTok. But my Instagram and TikTok, I haven't been as active as Facebook and LinkedIn, to tell you the truth.
I can't even figure out Instagram.
Yeah.
I tried to add chatting with Betsy on Instagram, and I goofed.
Yeah, just get someone to do it who knows how to do it.
Yeah, I can't figure that out. On TikTok, I'm not involved with that at all. That's getting very popular. But yeah. I can't thank you enough, Rena Yudkowsky, for coming on Chatting with Betsy. Folks, we tried to connect, and one thing or another kept getting in the way. And I don't have to say it's mazel tov. We made it through today.
Yes, thank you. So nice to talk to you. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Oh, you are welcome, and the pleasure is mine. I just really have a passion, to help others. That's really the heart of Chatting with Betsy, is to help people have better lives, know they're not alone, and to provide them with resources that are out there that they don't know about, and that I wish that I knew about when I was caregiving. You talked about knowing someone, that someone from America told you about someone in Israel that you didn't know about. It's like we don't know about resources in our own backyard. And I met someone on a line of bowl who was in the next town over, who I never heard of. And if I would have heard of her when I was caregiving for Matt, I could have hired her.
Yeah.
Did not even know she was in the next town over. So this is really very passionate about what I do and helping people to know that there are resources, and we don't know what's in our own backyard. Forget about national. We don't even know what's in our own state or towns. But I can't thank you enough, Rena, for coming on Chatting with Betsy. I appreciate what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate what you do as well.
Thank you. Folks, excuse me, the cough. All the information about Rena Yudkowsky and what she has to offer, her website, email, Facebook, and how you can connect with Rena will be in the blog that Jeannie White writes in the blog. She's station manager when Jeannie produces the show. So thank you, Jeannie White, for all that you do. And I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, CEO of Passion World Talk Radio, who makes this all possible. And I want to thank you, the listeners, for listening and subscribing. And if you don't already subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, I recommend that you subscribe so you don't miss any of my phenomenal guests who can help you have a better life. And it is free to subscribe to Chatting with Betsy on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeart, YouTube. And I also want to recommend that you check out my Facebook group, #Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement. I created that group so nobody should ever walk this caregiving journey alone, during caregiving or after. And you don't have to have Alzheimer's or your loved one. I welcome people from all walks of life, whatever dementia your loved one has. Check out my group, #Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement. And I also would like to encourage you to check out my Facebook page, Betsy, Betsy, middle initial E, Wurzel, Wurzel. Check out my Facebook page. You can follow me and see what I am about. And mostly you will see me have about Alzheimer's, because that is my passion. I want people to know about this disease. I want them to know what it does to people. And I want people to know that it is not an old person's disease. You can get it young. As a matter of fact, June's around the corner, isn't it? And June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. So this is perfect timing, Rena, for your show, as May is coming to an end. And you will hear me in the month of June do public service announcements. I really encourage people to, you know what, if you yourself are having difficulty, if your loved one's having difficulty, please check with your primary care physician. I know things are more advanced now than they were 13 years ago when Matt was starting on his Alzheimer's journey. And I know sometimes it can be difficult to get a proper diagnosis, but please do please get screened. Now, I think it was in 2019, that my husband's primary care doctor started to pre-screen with doing the clock for screening people for Alzheimer's and other dementias. And I said to him, he's Jewish, I said, Mazel Tov, you're doing this now. A little too late for Matt, but, you know, I'm glad that this is getting done. This is, that they're doing this. And, folks, I, say this all the time, and I am passionate about it. We have to speak up. We do. We have to be advocates for ourselves, our loved ones, and take control of our health. And, if you want to keep your memory intact, and who doesn't really, I highly recommend you contacting Rena Yukowski. And I know she's an asset, and I know that Rena's courses can help you, and even joining her Facebook group. Join the Facebook group and see what Rena's about. And then you might want to join the online courses. So check it out, and it will be in the blog. And that's what I have to say today, folks. Excuse me, I have to cough again. My asthma. And that's what I have to say today, folks. And, in a world, and I always say this at the end of my show, in a world where you could be anything, to please be kind and shine your light bright, because if we all did that, it would be a much brighter, kinder world, and we all need that now. And I just want to thank you all for listening again. I am passionate. Please share the show. Help me to help others. I can't do it by myself. I need you to help me. And when you do share the show, you are honoring Matt's memory. Because it's because of Matt, really, that I am doing this show. I was discovered by Jeannie White doing a video in my car, and I did videos because I want people to know about Alzheimer's. I want them to know anyone can get it. And I talked about caregiving. So that's what I have to say today. Thank you for joining me. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. Bye-bye now.